Throughout the course of history, man has attempted to understand the moral issues in order to become the world a better place. Many ancient and modern philosophers have made different kinds of theories on how to solve a particular problem. Although these problems seem to be a fail-proof, they're still flawed. And some of these man-made theories have been implemented, and the result has always been a total failure. Why? This is because man has always been flawed. Man is not perfect. Therefore, our moral standard should be based on something higher than man. This is the logic about the ethical monotheism, which is what I'm going to talk about in this oral discourse. So hi, I'm Regina Angela Pacificor, Bachelor of Science in Nursing Level 2, and this is my persuasive speech about the Ten Commandments. Ethical monotheism. Ethical monotheism came from Jews. In a nutshell, ethical monotheism points out that all moral standards came from a higher being, a single divine entity. The single part is important because this eliminates the conflicts of morals if for God to be exist, which is rampant in most pagan religion. Most pagan religions have many gods, and each of these gods have their own version of what reflects on conflicts. In the Jewish religion, God is also loving and wants his creation to treat each other decently. And in order for this to happen, God made the 10 statements. These statements are most commonly known as the 10 Commandments. Although the original texts are literally translated as statements, most of the people misunderstand the 10 Commandments because they're called as such. Now, the 10 Commandments are actually statements. These statements, if followed by people, it will ensure the peace and prosperity. And the first part of the 10 Commandments concern man's relationship with God. These commandments imply that God is the one giving these statements. Although it may look ceremonial at first, it shows that God is different from other gods because he cares for his creation. The Sabbath commandments shows that God wants his people to rest and not be slaves by their works. The make no graven image shows that God doesn't require anything by his people, not until they treat each other. This leads us to the second part of the commandments, which can be found in the second tablet. These commandments tell how mankind should treat each other, how we should treat each other decently. The important concept in the second tablet is God's command against stealing. Stealing can be considered as the central point of man's treatment to their fellow men, because stealing lives, stealing trust, and stealing property are all course committed in our societies. Another important concept in the second tablet is promulgation, which can be found in the commandments, "Thou shalt not lie." Now, we must understand the 10 Commandments. We must learn these commandments of God before we judge it to be wrong, irrelevant, and legalistic. Because if we know and understand these 10 Commandments, our world will become a much better place to live. The peace and prosperity will progress in our communities or societies. All of us will grow until the second coming of Jesus. We must learn these commandments and apply this in our lives in order for us to be saved in the second coming of God. We must instill this in our hearts and minds for us to be saved. I encourage you to memorize and 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 instill it in our minds and hearts. That is my persuasive speech about the Ten Commandments. Thank you.